Hello, everyone. We're just going to dive into our spring club release for this 2025. And I have here with me Joe.
We're really excited to taste through our spring 2025 release. And just a reminder for everyone, as we would say, the Dolce Vita, that good life, never forget to enjoy the things you love, be with your friends, have a glass of wine, eat delicious food, take care of yourself, but just don't forget to enjoy the finer things in life.
Absolutely. Well said, Joe.
Thank you. And what are we tasting here today, Leo?
Yeah, we're just diving into our 2022 vintage. A little recap about the vintage. It started with moderate rain through the later half of the fall, January, February, and early spring. We after those heavy rains, we had just a moderate spring. Nice warm weather, but yeah, nothing really eventful till right after or right in the peak of summer. Joe, we had a severe heat spike for almost 5 days. I mean, we were pushing 105 plus temperatures at the vineyard and all through not just Napa Valley, but through the state. So this accelerated the ripening process and allowed us to harvest our Cabernet until late September, which typically were in October for these harvest dates. But yeah, just to recap, it was smooth sailing, a little heat spike, which accelerated the ripening process. But yeah, now these wines are in bottle. It's nice to recap what we have. We have the Alivina Tusca, which is 60-40 Sangiovese to Cabernet, Joe.
Yeah, really beautiful nose. Young, vibrant, has those nice bright astringencies to it.
Yeah.
Little hints of that cherry note on there, and then the cab just adds such a nice, darker complexity to it. Brings it a little bit more in the body category. Perfect balance. And as always, you did a fantastic job with this one, but you can really see the heat and just kind of the ripening of that fruit, but still our delicate finesse as we like to see it.
Absolutely, and this clone selection is all the way at the end of Atlas Peak, so one of the highest elevations in Napa. So we're fortunate to get a ton and a half of this Antinori clone, which we then ferment by itself, age in neutral barrels, and then we slowly integrate our Cabernet to make this beautiful blend, which for the 22 vintage is 60-40% Sanjo to Cabernet, which is lovely. And you hit it on all the notes. It's just a lovely wine that can be enjoyed now or cellared in the future.
Yeah, really beautiful. And, having our, library of Ackerman family vineyards, tasting through some of the older vintages, whether they be 5 years or over 10 years from the early days when we started making Alivina Tusca back in 2007. I mean, it's just a wine that, stands to the testament of time. It's fantastic now, letting it breathe or cellaring it. And, perfect for, family dinner or just one of those, beautiful dinners you make midweek because why not, right?
Yeah, it's pasta, fish, anything in that nature. It's a segue into the second wine, Joe, the Stonehaven blend. It's I like this little nook of the vineyard that's at the base of the property. There's a stream that kind of goes in between the spice block, and as you progress into the Cabernet, it's our only non-Cabernet section of the vineyard. We have a little bit of Merlot, Malbec, and Cab Franc. In this particular blend, it's co-fermented, so Merlot, Cab Franc, and Malbec is co-fermented together, equal portion, and then to round it off, we added 25% of Cabernet, so equal portion of these four varietals that compose of this wine. Much more bolder than the Alivina Tusca as you kind of put your nose, more dark black and blue fruits to it.
Yeah.
More new oak as well. So you have that vanilla, that spice component. It's 50% new oak. So in this case, Joe, either like a smoked salmon or a pork chop or anything that's been smoked or or seared on open charcoal would be quite lovely with this wine, but it just has a little bit more body and more volume, more depth to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always a beautiful reflection of the vintage and the vineyard itself, coming from that one small segment and then bringing in the Cabernet Sauvignon, which is the majority of our vineyard. So you really get a true reflection of vintage and the vineyard itself on there as well. And, some years it's different, some others, but, just being able to show, our friends and collectors, what the vineyard can create as a team really makes, again, a beautiful wine, and also exclusive for the club on there. So you have to be dear friends of ours to acquire this on there. So to really taste, what Ackerman can offer in the Coombsville terroir, which is vintage vineyard, really is shown beautifully in here too. But just such a great nose. I mean, very pleasant. There's nice little blue fruit nodes on there I tend to find as well. But to your point, get that open charcoal, let it heat up. Spring and summer's right around the corner. Who doesn't love a good barbecue, right?
Yeah, a little lamb leg, anything like in that nature. But yeah,
absolutely.
So kind of the third wine to recap this is our Sauvignon Blanc.
Yep, that's right.
We still have a few cases of that wine left. It's 100% Musqué. Fermented in stainless, neutral, and a little bit of new oak, but this wine is complex in nature. It's playing with a lot of aromatics, mouthfeel, stone fruit, and it's early age, so it gives it that round, rich kind of mouthfeel. Some say a coffee cup wine on certain days, but maybe office days. But hey, it's a wine that can be enjoyed during the day. As you prepare a meal, it's a wine that's well received, and we make just any given vintage a small allocation for that wine.
Yeah, absolutely. The Sauvignon Blanc, to your point, was a very small, production and allocation, and even our reds, for that matter, for the spring, we made maybe 50 cases of the Stonehaven blend. Alavinha Tosca is usually in the range of 100. I believe we did 125 this particular vintage. So always kind of a low amount, but always fantastic, quality on there. We just make what we can and what's available, and it always works out great and turns out great. So we have some great wines coming up for you for this next spring release. Feel free to add the Sauvignon Blanc on there, just a little bit of that left, but beautiful citral spectrum, fresh, crisp. Really goes well with any component you might be working with.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, these wines, we hope you have a chance to enjoy these wines and enjoy them in the spring or in the summertime. So, to cooking and to share amongst friends, Joe, I would say.
Absolutely. And as I would always continuing to say and always say, that Dolce Vita, never forget that. And cheers.
Andiamo.
Andiamo.